What is West Coast Swing? West Coast Swing is one of those amazing dances that we could talk for hours about what really West Coast Swing is, but we're not going to do that. We're going to consolidate this and give you a very quick synopsis of a few major concepts that we want you to know about, just so that you understand and recognize what it is that you're about to learn. So let's look at the history of West Coast Swing very, very quickly. So jazz music evolved into a form called swing music. And that happened from the 20s into the 40s, so the 1920s into the 40s. And as it did, of course, dances evolved to match that along the way. Well, partner dancing did the same thing. And so there was a form of partner dancing that became very, very popular back in the time, especially around World War II. So we're talking about the 40s. And it was called Lindy Hop. Now, Lindy Hop is considered like the mother of all swings, but it really is just one of those that became, let's call it viral, if we use modern terms, okay? So viral Lindy Hop started spreading around the world, and as it did, it wasn't something that was being taught anywhere. It was something that people were mimicking from what they saw somewhere else. So obviously it changed over time, and it changed according to the location that it was being danced. So now all of a sudden you have all these different styles of swing that's happening, and West Coast Swing is one of them that happened on the West Coast of the United States, over in California. Now, West Coast Swing has a few major things that makes it look different from the other types of swings, and we want to give you just a few of those descriptions here so that you can recognize it in comparison to other forms of swing. So let's talk about that really quickly. So West Coast Swing is a slotted dance. And as a slotted dance, that means that the follower has an imaginary slot that goes back and forth down the line. Now we like to also call this a track. So although it's a slot, it's also a track. You will hear both of those terms used in our courses, so be aware of that. Now, what's so important about this track? It is that the follower is actually moving back and forth down this track. She goes to one side, she turns around, she goes back down the other side. And as she does that, that means that her movement is really linear. She's moving forward, she's moving backward. What does the leader do? Now the leader is going to be getting out of the way. So as the leader gets out of the way, she passes down her slot. We kind of come back into the slot with her. Then we move over. She does the same thing again. And as you can see from this, it looks like we're circling each other. However, we're only taking up space in this one linear area. And that's amazing, because then what happens is another pair of dancers can be right here and on the other side, and they can be dancing as well, and no one should be running into each other, right? It still happens sometimes, but for the most part, we don't. But we can have these really elaborate dances going on and yet not run into each other, and the slot gives us that opportunity. So that's one of the major aspects about West Coast Swing. Now, it doesn't mean that other forms of swing dance aren't slotted, but I will tell you, this is one of the major characteristics that when you see this, you'll go, that's probably West Coast Swing right out of the gate. A lot of the other swing dances are much more rotational and circular as opposed to linear like West Coast Swing.
And there's so many other things about it, but again, as we narrowed it down, one of the fundamentals is that it's so versatile. We have so many different styles of music. We pull from almost every genre you can think of. There's hip hop, there's R&B, you have blues, you have jazz, you can do it to country music, your top 40. I mean, it is kind of endless, and so it is constantly evolving because there are so many different styles of music that it can be danced to. There's also different tempos. It can be done very slow, and it also can be danced a little quicker. Now, for the record, just so that you guys know, we've chosen the slower tempo as we're taking you through these courses, just so that you have a chance to clearly see what's going on and to also follow along with us. But just realize that's kind of the beginning of it. You want to be able to start to increase the tempo so that you're ultimately comfortable anytime you go out, any type of music that's playing. It's a little fast, it's a little slow, it doesn't even matter. You would be able to get out there and do your West Coast Swing. So the versatility of the dance is kind of endless. And also the character is kind of endless. this is one of the interesting things about West Coast is that the character of West Coast is that it's many characters of other dance styles. So if you come to this from more of a hip hop background, then you can add that flavor into your dance. If you're coming into it from ballroom, you can add that flavor into your dance. So we really have this kind of big acceptance of other styles within the world of West Coast, and that's one of the beautiful things about it, is that you can kind of feel comfortable going, hey, I've got this background, I get to use it into a different style. Now, if you don't have a background in anything else, that's okay. We just call you a pure Westie.
Yeah, so the character of West Coast Swing is a very, very versatile type of dance with all kind of aspects that we can do. But it doesn't mean that we don't have some defaults that we like to use. And what we mean by default would be the idea of something that we do most of the time, but we don't call it just a rule. What would be some of the characteristics that we like to think of as defaults?
So our preference would be to dance our West Coast with a little bit more of an upright posture and dancing it with more of a smooth action. So our overall view is smooth and controlled and balanced and upright. We love that whole look. Now, again, if you guys are hearing something that's more inspirational, where you maybe want to do something a little bit different, then obviously that's not a bad thing. We just like it. That's part of our specific styling. We like the way it connects and it communicates. So as you guys are going through this with us, you're going to see that character throughout all of our courses.
And that is West Coast Swing.